The ocean life is what I like, it's where I wanna be. Sailing through the rolling waves is the only life for me. I like the sea spray on the face and the beach sand on my feet. And everybody calls me Salty Pete, Salty Pete.
Hi, I'm Salty Pete. I did a tutorial on this boat, the Highfield 380 Classic Deluxe, and in that I said it's just an easy job to get wiring up into the console here. It has been pointed out to me, I've done a lot of wiring in my life, that I shouldn't assume that everybody else can actually do wiring. So I'm going to run a tutorial now on how to run wires through boats, through conduits and so forth, and hopefully it's helpful to you. This is the job at hand. I did say during the review that I would be putting an echo sounder on my console. I haven't got the echo sounder yet, but I thought what I'll do is I'll run the wiring up to it now, so that I can show you how to run wiring. So the job we have at hand at the moment is the wire has to come from the battery compartment, which is under the seat. It then has to run into the end of this pipe here, which is a very solid aluminium pipe. The Highfield does have a very solid aluminium construction. The wire then has to go along this pipe and up here into the console. I won't be putting the actual wire out of the console yet. You also notice the wiring is coming out of the side of my console and not at the top, because obviously rain will get in if I have it at the top. So all my wiring is coming in down the side. So I'll have another wire coming out of there eventually going up to my echo sounder. So that's the job at hand. Well, our first job is to take the back cover off of the console. That's held on by 4 screws, so we'll undo those 4 screws. Now you may be asking a question. We've got navigation lights either side of the console. Why don't I just simply take some power from there and feed it to the accessories, such as my radio, which is not installed at the moment, my radio, and then my echo sounder. I can just take the power from the power that goes to the navigation lights. Well, basically every instrument you put on your boat, any accessory, takes a different amount of current. Too much current, of course, will blow the instrument up. So you need to take all of your wires through a fuse box. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could take one cable up into the console on a large fuse, say something like a 12 amp, and then install the fuse box in the console. But as you can see, if you can see it at the moment, there's not much room inside the console. There's money taken up by the steering mechanism. All right, so you basically need to actually install the fuse box near the battery and then run each cable up individually. Here is a close-up of the inside of the console, and as I said, it's taken up mainly by this part here, the steering mechanism for the boat. What we need to do is we need to get a cable down this conduit here, which goes into the pipe, and then down the end of the pipe to the rear of the boat, where the battery compartment is. Okay, what I'm going to do now is going to use what is commonly known as a snake. For my snake, I'm going to use some plastic coated curtain wire. Now, you don't normally use steel in a snake. Electricians and technicians have a problem because they could very easily short out a contact or electrocute themselves if they touch a high voltage contactor. This is a boat, it's only 12 volt and the battery's turned off, so there's no way I can short circuit anything or electrocute myself, and they make a fantastic cheap snake. So what I'm going to do is pick up this conduit from in here, and feed the snake down it. If it gets stuck at all, you just pull it back and give it a wiggle and start again. As you see, that's got a bit stuck there. Wiggle it around a bit. Should have gone through now. You see the all hanging out the back end, or it's gone somewhere else. No, I don't know where it's going. I have no idea where that went. We'll pull it back and have another go. I think it's just curled around inside the console and didn't actually go down the tube. So we'll have another go. What I might do is just feed it down the tube without going through this conduit, because the conduit has got a split in it, so you can just feed it straight down the tube. So I don't know where this conduit, I don't actually know where the conduit went to. It might have gone, we've gone through the other end now. Okay, so now we've put the snake through the pipe, and the next thing we need to do is attach a drawstring to it, and we use a special knot for that. So what I'll do now is we'll have a look at how this knot is knotted. Now, to demonstrate this knot, we're going to pretend that this rod here is the snake. We're going to pretend that this cord here is the drawstring I'm going to use. The drawstring I use is actually Bricky's line, is much thinner than this. And we're going to pretend that this roll of insulating tape is in fact a roll of insulating tape. Not much imagination required there. Okay, what I like to do first of all is to wrap some insulating tape around the snake. If I can unwrap the insulating tape. I'm using insulating tape on a yellow rod too, which is pretty bright. So I like to wrap that around the rod first. This is only because I've only got two hands. And I'll leave some insulating tape down. This is hard to do, I think, with a rod. It's easier to do with a real snake. Then I hold the drawstring across the top of the rod and then flip it around. It's easier to do that on the actual snake than what it is, because I've got to hold either end of the string and I haven't got another hand for the insulating tape, so I'd normally use the flipping around method and cut it off. Now this part of the knot is very important. What you do is you make a loop like that. I'm off screen, sorry. What I do is make a loop like that and then push the loop onto the end of the snake, so that this string that here is pulled in underneath from the back of the loop. I don't know if you can see that. What I'll do is I'll do it again just to make sure it's clear. We can just get the drawstring and just twist it like that and make a loop. So there's the loop on the drawstring, and we just put the loop over the top of the snake like that, pull it, and then pull it tight like that. Now, normally just one, and then wrap some insulating tape around the end of that. Now, before I knew about this knot, I used to be putting cables through, and then the drawstring would come off the cable, and then I'd have to say a few choice words. But since I've learnt this knot, you can pull that as hard as you like and it's not going to come off the end of the snake. So we'll get back out to the boat and we'll tie the drawstring to the end of the snake. And just see how we go. Right, here is the snake coming out of the back of the boat. And here is my drawstring. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the drawstring onto the snake by first of all doing the knot that I just previously showed you. So put some insulating tape around the snake. Put the drawstring on as explained before, and where's the insulating tape around. Try to leave a little bit of a tag sticking out so it's easy to get off. Then of course we put that loop in, like explained before. Put that loop on the drawstring. Oh sorry, put the loop on the snake. And there we have it. What I need to do now is to pull the snake back, and it'll pull the drawstring through the pipe into the console. I have the my drawstring put on a little stand here because I've done quite a bit of it, and it's quite handy to have it on a stand, but basically you don't really need it unless you're going to basically do it for a living. All I need to do now is pull the snake back until the drawstring comes through, and we're stuck. That's better. And we're stuck everywhere. Just conveniently place something on top of my drawstring. Okay, here we go, that's the drawstring through. Now all I need to do is to undo that and connect my wire to the drawstring. So we'll do that. That's why I have this little tag sticking out. It's easier to undo it, although the tag might get stuck on something on the way through, but just taking the risk because it's only a short distance. Okay, so I don't need the snake anymore. I've got the wire that I'm going to use inside the boat, which makes it very easy to get, doesn't it? Yep. Bit of forward thinking and I would have had it out ready, but I need to get my insulating tape, which I don't know what the heck I've done with. It's okay. I have this habit of putting something down and 3 minutes later I don't know where the hell it is. So once again we're going to do the same knot on the wire. Put the drawstring on the wire. The mandatory loop. Now what you can do if you want to, you can actually do two if you're a bit worried about it coming undone. I don't think it makes it any more stronger, but if I'm doing a larger cable I would do two, so if I'm doing a signal cable or something like that. Here's another question you might ask as well. You might know I realise I'm putting in a echo sounder. You think, well, I'm putting this wire through, why don't I put another drawstring through for the signal cable going to the echo sounder to the transducer. And the reason why that is because the signal cables don't like going around sharp bends or any pressure on them, because it changes the impedance of the cable and give you a misreading. So that cable will probably come down here and connect to the outside of the tube here. Now it's just a matter of pulling the drawstring back and then getting it stuck. Wow. Can't all be, things can't always go the right way for you, can they? Here we go. So what I'll do is, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to roll this cable up and shove it up inside the console. Because I'm obviously not going to wire in my echo sounder at the moment, and also I'll put the cover back on later, so you don't need instructions on how to put the cover back on. Now to get the wire into the battery compartment, we just need to tilt the seat back, and we use exactly the same procedure. In fact, anywhere you want wiring, you just use this procedure of pushing in a snake. I don't really want to snake that side of the... There we go. You just pull the snake through. What I need to do now is connect a drawstring, or just connect the wire directly to the wire. Well, I've got to do it anyway. Put the drawstring on and finish it all off. So once again we're going to attach the drawstring to the snake. Put in the loop. Da, 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 da. Pull the snake back, and of course here you've got the drawstring through. Now here we've got a bit of a change. Because we've got the drawstring through, well, we need the wire to come from the opposite direction. Okay, so I can't connect the wire to the end of the drawstring, that would be going the wrong way. So what I need to do is cut this drawstring off, okay, and then tie the wire to the drawstring and pull it down through that way, which I don't think I need to explain to you, because I think what I've done is fairly explanatory, and that's how I'd get the wire down into the battery compartment. I'm just going to coil the wire up for now, because I won't be using it until I put my echo sounder on. So when I do wire up the echo sounder, I could probably make another video of actually wiring up the echo sounder, but I'm not sure that would be necessary, because the main part of the job is putting the wire through. So I'll just I haven't got anything to cut the drawstring with at the moment, so I'll just leave it to your imagination. Just attach the wire to the drawstring through there, and then just pull it back through that way. When I did the review on this boat, the Highfield 380 Classic Deluxe, I mentioned I didn't like where the navigation lights were, because people sitting on the tubes completely blocked them, and so I'm just invisible to other people on the water. What I was contemplating doing was putting some navigation lights on the bow with maybe a spotlight for crabbing in the evening. For that reason I need to take wires up there. Putting wires in the bottom of a hull is not wise, just having them sitting there by themselves. They need to be in conduit. The only conduit you could use here is flexible conduit. Getting wires through flexible conduit is pretty tricky. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go up the back, and you know where the back is, at the back behind me. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways of getting a drawstring. So once you've got the drawstring through, you can pull the wires through easily. But I'm going to show you how to pull a drawstring through flexible conduit. Here I've laid out 10 meters of flexible conduit. Flexible conduit is very hard to put wiring down unless you know how to do it. Electricians normally just use short lengths to go in round curves and don't normally use it in a long length. However, when you're putting it through the hull of a boat, you can't use solid concrete conduit, because you need it to bend, so you would use flexible conduit. But you'll need to get a drawstring down it so you can pull your wiring through. So I'm going to give you a couple of methods now of how to get a drawstring through conduit. What I'm going to do is tie a small piece of rag on the end of my drawstring. Any knot you like, really. There's no preferential knot that you should use. I'm just going to use the standard reef knot. It's a bit of an unstandard reef knot really, because instead of just going around once, I normally go around twice for the first one, stop it from slipping. That's another story. Then I get the rag and stuff the rag inside the conduit. Making sure I've got 10 meters of drawstring on the ground, That should do it. At the other end of the conduit we attach a vacuum cleaner, and I've sealed it off with some vinyl tape around there. If we turn the vacuum cleaner on, it should theoretically suck the drawstring through the conduit. Excuse the noise for a second, if I can find the on switch. All that's left now is to remove the tape from around the end of the, let's just pull it straight off, and then we've got the drawstring having been sucked through by the vacuum cleaner. And here is the method if you don't have a vacuum cleaner handy. I've just got an old nozzle from my air gun and drilled a hole in the back to accommodate the drawstring, and once again attached a piece of rag on the end of the drawstring, and I'm just going to push that drawstring into the hose, shove the air gun in there, and hopefully blow the rag and the drawstring down through the conduit. I've got the camera focused on the end of the conduit so you can see the rag coming through firsthand. So on 3, 2, 1, blow. And there is a rag blown through the conduit. There we go. Getting conduit through your boat could be difficult at times if you can't use the snake or anything to use as a snake. Sometimes you get things in the way all the time, and the snake keeps jumping up against it, and you can't seem to get a snake through. What I have done is just tied a ring. Oops. Just tied a ring to the pull cord, just like that. Doesn't take me long to tie anything, does it, really? All fingers, or is it all thumbs and no fingers, or something like that? Here we go. So we tie a ring. That's just a steel ring I've tied to the string. If there's a section you can't seem to get your snake to work or anything else to work, I've quite often just got the ring like that, got plenty of slack on the ground, and just thrown the ring in the general direction I want to go. If it doesn't go where it's supposed to go, I'll just pull it back and have another go, sometimes 3 or 4 times before I get the ring somewhere near where I want it. And then using a stick with a hook on the end, I can then hook the string. Sometimes it's just too big to get through, so I might use a bit of fencing wire with a little, like, bend a hook on the end and just hook it with a bit of fencing wire. So there's several different ways that you can use. Just have to use your brains and work out the best way of getting your conduit through your boat. I hope this has been helpful. If it hasn't been helpful, you've just wasted your time watching this video. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video.